passion, the conviction, who you are.
You know what? I missed out on probably the biggest thing that I could probably do in my life.
What we're seeing is we move into this new phase.
Not only is he all energy,
building on our franchise, Snooze Mattress.
it's the passion that he brings.
Talk about where we're headed, and it's just such an exciting time for us at Snooze.
Hey, we'd like to welcome you to the Dream Maker podcast here. This is an opportunity for us to bring in some fantastic people and kind of just talk to them a little bit about who they are, what they do, and how we've collectively come together as a group and trying to make this thing move forward. So today's special guest is Jay Hinton.
Hello.
He's here from TSI and is an integral part in what we're doing over here with the Snooze Dream Team and making this dream come true and kind of moving our process for us. Jay, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks for having me, George. Appreciate it. Excited to be here. Listened to a lot of podcasts, but never been on one, so it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Something a bucket list item for sure.
Well, you and I are in the same boat when it comes to that
Right.
one, you know. So yeah, we'll do it.
Cool. Well, yeah, we'll have fun with it. So a little bit about myself. First of all, I always like to talk about sort of who it is that I represent.
Absolutely.
Right? The company I work for. So TSI, for people that don't know, is excuse me, sorry about that.
You're all right.
Is Tempur-Sealy International. Made up of 3 brands. It's Tempur-Pedic, Sealy, and Stearns & Foster, all under one corporate umbrella.
Okay.
We're an industry leader, really fun company to work for, very proud to be a part of the team that I'm with and to work with great partners like yourselves. But one thing I want to call out, it's very exciting for us, and it's something that benefits you guys as well, is right now we actually have the #1 and #2 selling brands in the entire mattress industry in the United States. And it's really cool. Sealy is #1, a position that we held for a long time. Somebody else kind of jumped ahead of us for a little bit there, but we've reclaimed our #1 spot. And of course, that incorporates Stearns & Foster sales as well. And Tempur-Pedic's the #2 brand. And if you actually take Stearns sales out of the Sealy numbers, Tempur-Pedic's actually the #1 brand in the space right now.
Wow.
Something that is hard to imagine, really, when you think about it, you know, and you and I have both been around mattresses a long time. And, you know, people are always looking for a deal, looking for a bargain. I think people are starting to understand the value and the importance of great sleep and investing in that, you know, making an investment in themselves, in their home, in their health, excuse me, all these things. And what we're seeing with that is just incredible demand for Tempur-Pedic.
Yeah.
Right? Tempur-Pedic's just risen to the forefront based on this sort of new demand that's come from a variety of reasons, but really exciting for us. I've been with Tempur-Sealy for close to 4 years now, and it's a great company to work for, just fantastic people, great products, obviously, as people know. And yeah, it's been a great ride so far, and I love being part of TSI.
Well, that's the great part about it. I mean, I think the value of sleep sometimes is underrated. You have too many times that people sit there and say, you know, I don't need that much sleep. I need only 4 hours of sleep or 5 hours of sleep, and I can just pop up and everything is good to go. But what we don't realize is the body needs a whole lot more than that.
Absolutely.
We're looking at 8 hours of sleep. And I mean, you need quality sleep, not just laying in the bed thinking, oh my God, you know, I've got so much stuff on my mind.
Sure.
It's about getting yourself prepared to go to bed. And the investment that people are looking at putting in, nowadays you talk to folks and you say, hey, you've got to put a couple grand into a mattress, if not more. And they're still sticker shocked about it.
Sure.
Yet people can go out there and buy an $80,000 truck and trade this bad boy in 5 years. And that's sweat off their brow. They're all,
exactly. You
so
know,
what do you do with things like that?
Yeah, you know, it's really about educating people, right? And getting people to sort of change their mindset. So to your point, $80,000 on a new car, a new truck, something they can brag on, right? Something they can show off to people. So it's a vanity purchase at the end of the day, right? It's going to make them feel good about themselves, like from a mental capacity, right? They're going to feel good about themselves. But is it actually helping them feel good?
Right.
Right? Like physically, and things like that. That's what investing in the right sleep system can do for you, right? No matter what you do in life, it doesn't matter if you're, you know, sweeping the floors or if you're a CEO, right? You're the best version of that on a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Right. And that comes across in our personal relationships too. Never mind what you do for a living, but we all have people in our lives, children, significant others, parents that might need our help with things. If we can't rise to that occasion because we're tired and we're sore and we're just not our best self.
Yeah.
You know, we're missing the mark by doing that. So it's getting a customer to understand, you know, and I've been doing this a long time, right? I've been in the mattress business for over 20 years, so I've been on the retail side of things, and I've seen so many people that they roll up in their $80,000 F-250,
Yeah.
and they get out and just dressed perfectly, they're looking great, and they come in, hey, I want a mattress, and I want to spend $500 or
Right.
less, so I want to spend as little as possible. And it's like, well, you obviously can afford to spend more,
Yeah.
right? So it's getting that customer to understand why should they spend more,
Exactly.
right? So with Tempur, we have, maybe a $3,200 rectangle sitting
Yeah.
on your floor, and maybe there's a $599 rectangle sitting just a little ways down.
Yeah.
That customer doesn't know the difference between those two things. He's not going to understand, right?
Right.
Because that vanity part of it, right? He can't show that off to his buddies.
Right.
If it's
Exactly.
it's just not the same thing. It's, oh, that's just that thing that goes in my bedroom. It's covered. Nobody's going to see it. Who cares?
Yeah.
right?
When's the last time you brought your buddy into the bedroom? Like,
Right.
dude, you got to check this mattress out.
Exactly. It doesn't happen, right? So it's getting them to understand, like, what's the difference? Why should they invest more,
Yeah.
right? And it's really about investing in themselves, investing in their health, their life, improving their lives through better sleep. Our brand promise at Tempur-Pedic is to deliver life-changing sleep.
Wow.
And some people hear that and they go, it's hyperbole, a big statement, whatever.
Yeah.
95% customer satisfaction rate, most highly recommended bed in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't have accolades like that. We wouldn't have people basically evangelizing for our products and telling their friends and family and posting on social media and doing all this stuff. And great retailers like you saying, hey, we want to be partners with you. We want to have your product kind of out front and center for our stores.
Yeah.
It wouldn't happen if we didn't deliver on those brand promises.
Exactly.
Right? We're actually changing people's lives. And it's kind of a fun and unique position to be in, right? As salespeople, at Snooze, we can actually change people's lives through better sleep.
That's exactly what we are striving to do, and and the people that work for Snooze and the people that are to come to work for Snooze later on. That's what we want to emphasize. That's what we want to kind of put out there, is that we're not just selling these little rectangles any longer. It's not the cool thing where I can go pop the hood and say, check this out.
Right.
But it is one of those things where when you really kind of invest in you and you realize that by getting a better night's sleep, you're not tossing and turning, you're not sleeping hot any longer,
Right.
you're not sitting over there and getting partner disturbance. These are key things that we sit there and talk about all the time. And Tempur-Sealy offers a lot of that to us with these unique products that they have nowadays.
Yeah, we do, and we've even taken it further with the recent addition of our smart bases
Okay.
to our portfolio. Our smart bases have technology that actually measures the air purity of your bedroom environment. I mean, that's how kind of
Wow.
detailed we get into hey, how can we actually improve somebody's life through better sleep? Not to get too scientific, but when you think about it, if you're in a room that's kind of closed off, not well ventilated, we're taking in air, we're keeping the oxygen that we need, and we're letting the CO2 out,
Yeah.
right? So throughout the course of the night, that room is being filled with CO2, and we're breathing that recycled air, right?
Right.
And what's interesting with our sleep tracker device on our smart base is it's actually going to measure the purity of the room, and you can actually start to connect those dots. You can wake up the next morning, look at what your sleep score is, look at what your sleep pattern was through the night,
Yeah.
and actually look and be like, hey, I noticed I started sleeping poorly last night right at the time that the CO2 level in my room started to spike.
Exactly.
Right? And you can make changes based on that, right?
Right.
If you can measure something analytically with data, then you can improve it, right?
Right.
And that's what the sleep tracker does. It actually quantifies how well you're sleeping and gives you tips on how to improve that sleep.
Well, and too many times I would say that I think one of those key questions that a couple counterparts of mine continue to ask, and I think you and I had discussed this earlier, is who taught you to sleep? Because, I mean, if you think about this, I mean, you're really never taught how to sleep
Right.
and what the right type of sleep looks like. I mean, when you have an infant, you put them down for a nap, and you're actually kind of giving them that tone, the
Sure.
playbook on what needs to be done.
Yeah.
But the process of, as you start getting into, your adolescence, your teenage years, those are the most crucial that people really don't realize. I mean, especially when you're intaking so much information, you're learning constantly, and even as an adult, it requires, your body needs a specific amount of sleep. And still yet today, we run into people in the retail environment that really don't understand that. So how do we continue to kind of push this message across to them?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a great point. It's all about mindset, right? So, for me, obviously, I do a lot of sales trainings in stores, and I try to go in and get people to take the approach of being a consultant that's there not to sell a mattress to the customer that comes through the door, but to help them buy one. right? So that makes it, you got to make that a personalized experience. So you can't just say, hey, my numbers aren't so good right now. I need to sell, X number of dollars these last couple days of the month to hit my bonus or whatever it might be, right?
Sure.
Because you're not thinking about the customer's needs when you do that,
Right.
And as salespeople, as soon as we make it about us, we're doing a disservice to the guests.
You've lost
right?
them right then.
You've lost them, yeah. And when they come through the door, they don't want to be sold, right?
Right.
People are sold constantly. You watch TV, you get fed ads on your phone, all this different stuff. We're always being sold to.
Mm-hmm.
What we want to do, ideally, and this is something that we really believe in at TSI, and we were so pleased, getting to know Snooze. We're such a perfect partnership because I think you guys take this approach already. We were just like, wow, these guys, they're thinking about it the right way. It's all about, okay, a customer comes through the door. Why did they come through the door? Like, what triggered this?
Yeah.
What's going on? What's keeping them up at night? Like, I literally ask that question of my customers if I'm helping out on the sales floor. What's keeping you up at night? You're tossing and turning, you're sleeping too hot, your back pain. Tell me about it. Make it about them, right? A personalized experience. That way you, as a consultant, can offer solutions to their problems.
Yeah.
Not, hey, I want to sell you this bed because it's on sale, or I want to show you this bed because, whatever reason it might be, maybe you're incentivized in some way.
Sure.
That kind of stuff. I've been in this business a long time. That stuff really makes me unhappy because I'm about the customer, right?
Yeah.
And we all should be, right? This customer has a need. How can we help fill that need for them?
Yeah.
So to really tailor that experience, what you guys do with your pressure mapping system is a great place to start with that, right? The use of technology, we're kind of breaking down that barrier. Hey, this isn't a salesman trying to sell me something. This is technology actually mapping my body and saying, this is where your pain points are, and here's some recommendations of what might help with that. And that's such a great place to start. Cut down that barrier of the whole customer salesperson thing that can be, a little tense sometimes. Get right past that. Get into, hey, this is about you.
Yeah.
We want to help you.
Right.
Right.
And I mean, educating your consumer and providing that type of information makes them have a better buying decision. And too many times, like you said, I love the way you phrased it. We are constantly being sold on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that we need to get to a point to where we're educating our consumers more than anything.
Absolutely.
And that's what I have always loved about the bedding industry. I mean, I too have been 12 years in the bedding industry, and it's been phenomenal. I didn't realize this was something that I was going to be doing for an extended period of time. But once you realize the impact that we have on putting people in the correct sleep, in the right mattress, and changing their lives, I mean, it's amazing. And I think the biggest gratitude that we get in the mattress industry retail space would be, I sell you a bed. And 2 months later, you bring your family members in, and they're like, hey, love our mattress.
Yeah.
Can't tell you how great you guys were. I'd love you to do the same thing for my mother, or my friends. They're having some trouble. I mean, those stories go round and round for guys like us.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, right there, right? I mean, as a retailer, nothing is more valuable than the referrals that your customers give you. That they bring their friends and family, and that they'll go on social and post. Does it happen as much with mattresses as some other items?
Right.
No, right? Back to our point, it's not a vanity purchase. But in some cases, if we've truly improved their lives, completely changed their life through better sleep, people will do it. They'll, at the very least, give a posting on your Google reviews or maybe directly on your website, any way that they can do it, because they appreciate that tailored experience that was about them, that wasn't about you trying to sell them something. And it's really gratifying.
Yeah,
it's really gratifying. It's a big part of why I do what I do and why I don't foresee ever doing anything else, to be honest. Because, I mean, what else can you do in retail that really is going to have that kind of impact on somebody, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
and there's so many stories that come about that we hear daily about how changing their lives by sleep, getting the right amount of it, or even professional athletes that are getting the right amount of sleep. I mean, there's so many gimmick things that are out there nowadays. I mean, that's what we've got to be able to wade past. And I think I know that's what Snooze looked into when we were trying to find that perfect partnership, is finding somebody that's going to tell that story just like what we want to do. And when you start bringing that to the retail environment and you start impacting customers through sleep and changing their lives, they all of a sudden realize that it's not just a $500 mattress any longer. You know, it's an investment on their life. And a mattress lasts a whole hell of a lot longer than a truck does, or
Sure.
their fancy little car out there does.
Especially if it's a Tempur-Pedic.
Exactly,
right?
exactly, right?
Yeah.
And so we want to keep that kind of process going.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's great. And I love that that our companies really share that mindset, right? You know, ET uses that phrase,
Yeah.
that intersection of influence.
Yes.
I think I'm getting that right.
Yeah, you hit it right.
And you know, it's about, you know, kind of, you know, finding your why and what drives you, and what are you passionate about? Why do you do what you do? And I think for us, we're such a perfect partnership because we have such similar goals in mind,
Yeah.
right? With such a similar approach. We do something at TSI that we call Retail Edge, which most people wouldn't know what that means. It means a lot of different things, but I think what it boils down to is figuring out how to meet the customer where they're at, right? Today's
Okay.
consumer, not the same as the consumer 5 years ago, not the same as the consumer 10 years ago for certain.
Sure.
You know, so how do we deliver a message to them? Where do we find them in terms of our marketing, right? Being in that digital space that you guys really excel in, and not everybody does. Let's be honest about
Yeah,
that, right?
it's a tough spot to be in.
It's a tough spot to be in. You know, you get a lot of business owners out there. Hey, I'd love to do that, but I don't know how. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Right? Snooze mattress. You guys get it in a big way.
Yeah.
So you got a leg up on everybody just right off the bat. And that's something that we really value at TSI. We want to have retail partners that understand where things, not just where things are, where are things going.
Yeah.
Right. The whole is the Wayne Gretzky quote about, you know, don't play the puck where it is, play it where it's going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So you guys are forward thinking, just as we are, and that makes us a good partnership. You know, it's also about you know, meeting the customer in store in a new way. Right. We kind of touched on it before about them not wanting to be sold to, right?
Yeah.
Today's customer is so much more savvy and knowledgeable. You know, we got the whole internet out there.
Oh, yeah.
We can do a lot of research. Some of it is good information, some of it's not good information.
Right.
But they're coming into your store with some things in mind already, right? So taking an approach of not just, hey, I'm a mattress expert and you're a layperson, so I'm gonna school you about mattresses.
Right.
They might already know like more than you think they do.
Exactly.
So it's about finding out where are they in that process? Like, how long have you been looking for a mattress? What kind of research have you been doing? Are there holes in that research? Maybe I can help. Any questions that have come up that maybe I can help clarify, so that you're not overtly saying, I'm the expert, you should trust me, you should listen to what I have to say.
Right.
You're asking questions that are getting them to talk, getting them to give you the information that's going to help you then say, oh, okay, so I kind of get where you are now.
Right.
Let me give you a little bit more information.
Right.
Let me clarify this one point. Let me tell you about this one thing that you didn't mention. That's really a new way of thinking about how to deal with a customer at that retail level, and
Sure.
something that again, a lot of retailers out there are missing that mark. They're still going old school, and it's not working out so well for them.
No, and that's why, like I said, it's about changing the industry. And when you change it, it's always met with resistance initially because
sure.
people really don't understand what it is that you're trying to do. But once it's become a household name, and this is the way that you actually go and shop for it, I mean, you know, it's not like you just run over to a rack and grab a mattress and then run out and think, hey, that's the one for me.
Right.
It really is. There's a lot of education there behind it. And the more that people start understanding and realizing that the bedding industry is something that it's not there. You shouldn't be penny pinching on that.
Right.
One thing my mother had always told me a long time ago, she was like, look, you can go to Walmart for a lot of different things, for a lot of inexpensive items, and they're great and they'll do the job. But in time, you sometimes have to spend a little bit more money on these different products.
Absolutely.
And when you do, yeah, it might be that initial investment, but it's going to last so much longer for you in the long term. And I think that's where we're kind of at in that spot where people are starting to realize they're starting to educate themselves a little bit more, in the sense that, you know, mattresses has got to be a little bit more impactful in your life. And that's not only from an adult standpoint. You've got to be doing the right thing for your children, from infants. I mean, there's infant mattresses that are out there.
For sure.
I mean, we've been at some of these events in Vegas or nationwide, and you can see some of the innovative things that are going on out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm amazed at how many parents I see, and obviously all parents love their children. I'm not bashing. I'm not bashing these parents as bad parents, but it's that mindset, something that they're not understanding, that we can help educate them on. They come in and it's like, I don't want to spend much money on this mattress. It's just for my kid.
Right.
Right. Well, that kid's developing. right? That kid's growing. That kid's spine is in that really that very important place of development where if you put them on the wrong mattress, we're not doing right by that kid,
No.
right? So it's not only for the people, the adults that are maybe empty nesters now and they got some money in the bank. Oh, now we can afford a good mattress.
Right.
They need to be thinking about their kids and other loved ones. If they're in a position to dig a little deeper, get a better mattress. Kids especially are really going to benefit from that.
Absolutely. And I think, just even from a medical standpoint, I mean, I'm no doctor by no means, but I would definitely say that, kids are very, very vulnerable and unfortunately they don't have as much of a voice.
Right.
So even if they're not sleeping well, I mean, I've said it, trust me, they can sleep anywhere. But what you don't realize is that impacts everything that goes on. I mean, you wonder why your kid's a little cranky in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, they probably didn't sleep right,
Yeah.
It's no different than you and I, laying
Yeah.
in a mattress and stuff. And, when you start becoming a mattress geek, like I always call myself, and
Yeah.
you go into hotels and you like, oh my God, this is this type of mattress. And you lay on it and you're like, yep, I know that's why I'm not sleeping good.
Yep.
I need to get back home again. And it's so very, very important. And I'm glad to hear that TSI and Snooze are starting to work in the right direction and kind of just changing the game when it comes to all of those things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how you started working with Snooze.
Yeah, I get asked this a lot by a lot of my colleagues that are to be honest quite jealous. I think, if any of them listen to this, sorry guys, but, it's my account.
Right.
No, like I said, you guys are the kind of partner we all want, right? So I feel very fortunate that I'm in that place where I can work with you guys, but I can't take all the credit for it, right? My predecessor in my current position is a guy named Corey Case. You know Corey.
Yeah.
Corey has had a relationship with Matt for a couple 3 years now. Really kind of built that trust, laid the groundwork, built that partnership, got you guys up and running with store number one.
Yeah.
And has been really integral in kind of building this connection that we have as a company. And Corey took a promotion to corporate, and I put in for his role to take over his business, and right place, right time, I guess, because I got to inherit Snooze Mattress. Didn't know what I was getting into at the time. Didn't really know who you guys were, what you were about, but it takes one meeting with Matt Smith, and you're like, oh, okay.
It changes things for you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. This is something different.
Yeah.
This is something in the best possible way,
Yes.
right? This is something different. It's something unique. You start hearing about his vision and his goals, and then you get to start spending time in the stores and at Wake Up Pueblo and get a sense of what the culture is,
Right.
the culture that he has built. I mean, his optimism and enthusiasm is just infectious, and it just bleeds down to everyone in the organization. And me as an outsider getting to come in and witness that and connect with it has been really great for me on a personal level and a professional level. It's just been outstanding. So, in a lot of ways, I lucked out that I got the opportunity to work with Snooze. On the other hand, it's been good and fun for me that I've been doing a lot of work with you guys, right?
Yeah.
Like you guys have this really awesome growth plan, in terms of expanding through this franchise model.
Oh my God!
And you and I are both finding out just how much work that entails, right?
Yeah.
It's a blast, but it's a lot of work, and it's fun, man. It's been a great ride so far, and I know it's going to continue to be. And we have this. I just picked up on this a week ago at our TSI regional meeting. This term BHAG.
Okay.
BHAG is an acronym, BHAG, and it stands for Big, Hairy, Audacious Goal.
Yeah.
Some of our retail partners have little goals, right? They might be a mom and pop. They're just trying to keep the lights on, and hey, we want to hit this number. Can you help us? And that's great. That's their goal, right?
Yeah.
So meeting the customer where they're at, I meet them where they're at. I help them achieve that goal. Then you talk to Matt Smith, and you find out this guy has a BHAG,
Right.
a true BHAG, right? Lofty goals. Like he wants to take over this industry in a big way. And not just in terms of, hey, we just want to have a lot of stores and make a lot of money. It's all that stuff we were talking about before. He wants to change people's mindsets, the way people think about our industry, the products within our industry, about sleep, about health, wellness. all these things that are I think so many out there just missed the mark
Yeah.
on it. It's just not talked about enough. And you sit down and talk to Matt and to you and to Andrew and to ET and everybody's kind of on the same page. Like, hey, we're here to revolutionize.
Yeah.
We want to turn this industry on its head in a positive way, make it better, improve lives. And we'll have a lot of fun doing it. And for me, it's just awesome to get to come along for the ride and hopefully provide some help along the way that's valuable to you guys.
Well, a couple key things that you had mentioned in that is, first and foremost, we were thankful and lucky to have you as our rep.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Corey did a fantastic job, and I never got to work with Corey quite as much.
Yeah.
I think you and I, when you took over, that was kind of like my beginning of Snooze Mattress
Right.
Company as well. And so you and I have had tremendous amount of interactions and stuff like that. Matter of fact, I mean, we've got planned meetings on Monday. We've got things going on
Yep.
that kind of change all of this as well.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, I mean, the big thing that we try and do is just kind of move it in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the fact that you said, hey, you've got a guy in here in Matt that's looking to revolutionize things. I would say in that same sense, we want to challenge people differently
Yeah.
nowadays. The day of just selling the little rectangle out there is, it's still there. You guys can definitely go out there and find companies that are going to
Sure.
continue to do that and just say,
Absolutely.
hey, this is good, better, best. Which one do you like? And move on with life. But if we can really start impacting, lives and impacting the way these sales actually work, we don't want to inundate you and give you all these things. I bumped into a guy into the airport and I talked to him about Snooze and what our lofty goals were. And,
Yeah.
and he was like, you know what? It's about the craziest thing I've ever seen. He was like, you guys advertise more than anything. Do you guys do really well over there? And I'm like, the mattress industry in general is not a very sexy thing.
Right.
So how do you market it the right way? And ultimately, when we get past that and we started to talk about those things, he started to understand that, if we challenge people to do things differently, as many industries have, Tesla to the vehicle industry,
Absolutely.
automotive industry. When Tesla first came out, it was one of those things they laughed at them.
Right. Yeah.
Now look at these guys; they're all innovating and changing.
Yeah.
That's what we want to help do, and partnerships like this help us to push that a little bit further. And like you had mentioned, I mean, Snooze has some lofty goals, and Matt has put a lot of challenges on us.
Yeah.
That's required us to kind of put our head down and kind of figure this process out. And
Right.
trust me, you give us a couple stores here, we're going to have this down to a science, and
Yeah.
we're going to get this thing working.
For sure. We're going to get good at this really quick.
Right, we have to.
Yeah.
I think it's demanded on both sides. So
Yeah.
ultimately, and Snooze is looking for the right partnerships. I think that's probably the best thing. And TSI comes to us with an amazing program that helps us to show where these markets are and how we can actually function on these things. And we just want to do the right things by our potential franchisees is by giving them an opportunity to be successful, be out there doing the right things, seeing what we can help them out with. And then, like they said, they know they have a product they can stand behind 120%.
Absolutely. And I think a big part of that and why I have no doubt that this is going to work the way Matt's envisioning it is that selection process of who those partners are.
Yeah.
Right. I like the approach that you guys take, that you award franchises to the right people. We're not just handing these things out to whoever's got a few bucks, right? Getting the right partners. Because internally, at TSI, you mentioned your conversation with the guy at the airport. We've had these conversations internally. We're having to kind of, those of us on my team directly, Sammy and myself and Corey, kind of had to sell this idea in to leadership. And a lot of that is because we've seen franchise models come and go.
Yeah.
We've seen some players come and even get a little bit of traction. I won't name any names, but there was one in the Southeast that had well over 100 stores at one point in a very short period of time, and they didn't make it. Right. And those stores closed. So there's this kind of natural skepticism that we're always going to have, like, oh, they have this big lofty goal. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people have goals. Are they actually going to do it? One thing that's really different that we've noticed with Snooze, and again, it all kind of starts at the top, right? You look at Matt Smith and the way his approach to things, his mentality, his optimism, and the culture that he's built.
Yeah.
And one sort of talking point that we've had internally about this is, it's easy to scale a business model, right? You can put a business model on paper and say, we're going to have X number of stores, X number of square feet per store. We need them to produce X number of dollars per store and go on from there.
Yeah.
It's another thing to scale a culture and scale a new way of thinking about things.
Right.
And what we found very quickly was just a couple meetings with, I was sold from 5 minutes of talking to Matt. But, our leadership, they're going to be a little bit more skeptical. They got to be careful. But, right from the top of our company on down, everybody's bought in. Everybody's going, this guy's different. He has a different type of culture.
Yeah.
And he's going to scale that culture, right? He's finding the right partners. We're doing things on our end. This is what I do. A lot of work that I do is really helping to identify the right markets to be in, right? So we're not just opening stores wherever. We want to be in markets that are going to be successful for you guys
Sure.
and for your franchisees, and that are going to be profitable for us and our market. And all those things sort of combined, we have this recipe in place that, we're at the kind of the beginning stages of it. And like you said, we're learning how to do it.
Yeah.
But I think the framework of, hey, you got this guy that's created this culture, this new way of being in the retail space of mattresses, a selling process that's different, an in-store experience that's different, a way of approaching our customers that's different, marketing that's different, everything.
Right.
Everything about Snooze is different
Yeah.
in really great ways. When you combine that with finding the right partners, both on the franchise side and on the vendor side, it's just a recipe for great things. So I
Yeah.
think we've kind of got something put together here that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been pretty special. I mean, it's a wild ride over here.
Yeah.
Likewise, I mean, you've got a lot of lofty plans, but he's built quite the team to kind of help him move that along. And with his dreaming mentality, we've got to have these guys that are going to be able to kind of build that dream there for him. And we're moving in the right direction. And not only just awarding franchises, it's finding the right people to be there at the store level. I mean, we can sit here and have these expectations, but it's our guys that are out there right now in these stores that are doing such a phenomenal job at taking care of the customers that are walking through the door.
Yeah.
I think that's where all of the praise needs to be on is those guys out there. They don't realize, and because I've been in that environment. You've been in that environment.
Absolutely.
You just feel like, oh my God, I'm here day to day and I'm just selling mattresses and what am I doing here? But they don't realize the impact that they have on people's lives and how that can change. And that's where, if we come full circle on this, you start looking at that. And that's once you get that mentality in this industry, things start changing for you and you become a different person in the sense that now I can really kind of, I can sink my teeth into this. It's like, once again, it's not one of those glamorized jobs.
Right.
You're not saying, hey, I'm a mattress salesman.
Right.
People are like, do you need some help finding a job? What they don't realize is there's a lot of great things that come about this. And it's a very lucrative industry to be in as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad you called out the folks that are working the floor, right? Because they're the tip of the spear.
Yeah.
Right. We're, guys like you and I that are kind of more behind the scenes. We're helping to kind of put some power behind that spear, maybe help to guide the direction of it, things like that.
Yeah.
But the people that are on the ground in the store, talking to the customers, asking those questions, finding out what do people need and how can we solve problems. What they do is so vitally important, and I hope they all enjoy doing it because it's such a unique position to be in, to actually improve somebody's life in that way.
Absolutely.
Through what is oftentimes a very short interaction. That might just feel like kind of a one-off, hey, I just spent 15 minutes talking to this person, they bought a mattress, and then you might hear from them again at some point. You probably won't, right? But those referrals that you talked about, they come back in with their friends and family, say, hey, this guy, he took care of me with this mattress, changed my life. He can do the same for you. It's a great feeling to have. So I hope they're experiencing that out in the stores.
Absolutely. And we want to continue to kind of breed that type of optimism, that type of respect there for those guys. I mean, because like I said, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be sitting in the position that we are.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. So what are kind of, and only if you can share those with us.
Sure.
What's kind of future goals there for TSI with Snooze, some of the things that we want to try and accomplish and do here in the near future or even in the extended future?
Sure. Yeah. So obviously there's a lot of specifics that I can't dive into, but, generally speaking, our BHAG, so to speak, our big, hairy, audacious goal is really just to continue to be at the forefront of the industry, right? We want to officially get Tempur-Pedic into that number one spot, right, and be the number one selling brand. Obviously, as a business, we're not a nonprofit. We're here to make money, just like everybody else. So obviously, there's some financial benefit to that, but really beyond that, I think to have a brand that's, again, not an inexpensive brand, right? I like that Tesla analogy when you talk about Snooze and how Snooze is different and stuff. I use that analogy in trainings a lot, right? Getting people to understand how is Tempur-Pedic different than other mattress brands. Well, think
Yeah.
of those other mattress brands as your typical combustion engine brands, you know. Think of Tempur-Pedic as Tesla, right? So imagine if Tesla were the number one selling car manufacturer in the country.
Right.
Like that would be incredible, right?
Exactly.
Right? They're not cheap, right? But they're different and better in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
And it would take a lot to get people to sort of revolutionize the way they think,
Yeah.
you know, in mass like that, and get that many people on board with the idea. We're on our way to doing that at Tempur-Pedic, right?
Okay.
And that's kind of the goal, is just to continue to do that. We're continuing to capture market share all across the country. Our partnership with Snooze is going to be a big part of that, we think, right? As you guys have these kind of lofty goals of being in markets all across the nation, and we're obviously a part of that. So that's going to help. It's a real win-win for our two companies. So, you know, we want to be at the forefront of the industry. We're kind of there already, but we really want to solidify that and maintain that. You know, for as long as we can, and
Sure.
be the go-to brand, right? Be the brand that people tell their friends and family about, and yeah, just want to keep it rolling, man.
Sure. And you know, and I
Yeah.
would even say that on you know, for something that we do in here as well, as a dream maker, as we call ourselves,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where we're constantly, you know, looking to evolve, looking to change, and be that company that helps to move things forward. And we hope to be the tip
Yeah.
to the needle for Tempur-Pedic TSI,
Yeah.
to kind of say, hey, look, we've really sunk our teeth into these guys, Snooze, and these guys have been able to run forward with everything. And you know, it's one of those things, as far as like, even from a franchise standpoint, you got to know that you've got the backing of somebody that's there. They're going to be behind you 120%.
For sure. Yeah.
And you know, to look at stuff like that, that's where we want to kind of come full circle and say, hey, we're going to be there for you. I mean, Snooze has a whole different mindset when we do those type of things. We are looking to expand. We've got an aggressive expansion not policy, but an idea, a dream that we're going to be moving across the country and doing a number of different things. And more importantly, we're looking for the right people. I mean, obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably saying, hey, is this something that I want to dive a little bit deeper in? And I would say, you know, listen to some of the things that we've been able to share here today, and do a little bit of research and contact us. I mean, we'd be excited about that. I think you can go to snoozemattresscompany.com. You can reach us and maybe even dive into it a little bit further yet, to see how we're going to be able to help move this culture forward. You get to meet and be with great people like Jay, and help us to kind of build this new foundation, this new step. Let us help and be the sleep shop of the future, you know, kind of changing things in the industry in itself.
Yeah, and, you know, and I talked about that culture that Matt has created that we were also impressed by at TSI. And wow, if he can scale that culture, it's really going to work. You know, if there are potential franchisees listening out there, what I would say to them is, you know, meet Matt Smith if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Get to talking to him, get to understand what he's about, what Snooze is about, and buy into it. Right? Because those franchise models that have failed in the past, it's because the franchise store in town B over here isn't doing the same thing that the original store in town A is, and town C is doing their own thing. And you get everybody kind of going off, doing their own thing, taking their own approach to it, and not buying into what made the original company so successful.
Yeah.
And I think if your franchisees, and I've had a chance to meet you know, a few of the first ones and other potential ones, and it's a lot of great people, and I know they're going to do great things in their markets. But if they can just take, you know, the great thing that Matt and team have built here in Pueblo, and just, you know, take it back to their hometown and just kind of mirror that, right? Be connected to their community, just like Matt is so intent on being connected to the Pueblo community.
Absolutely.
Being, you know, doing the charitable work and the things that make it not just about, hey, we're not just a retailer here to make money. We're here to help elevate our community and be a partner to our community, right?
Yeah.
To serve a need and to help out. And I think if your franchisees can do the same thing in their towns, just follow that Matt Smith model, and do what he's doing, have belief in the systems that are in place, have belief in the products. We obviously feel, you know, that our products are the best in the business, and you know, there's a lot of metrics out there that back that up.
Yeah.
If they give their full buy-in to that, you know, from our end as a vendor partner, you know, we're always going to help with the support needed to learn how to talk about our products, right? to make sure that you have all of your in-store needs met, so that everything's looking good and just positioned the right way and has all the advertising elements and things like that in store. It's an opportunity for us to really help out all of your franchisees, kind of do that snooze model in their towns. Yeah.
Well, and I appreciate you and kind of closing this thing down here. Once again, I just want to say thank you for taking, time out of your, just hectic schedule to be here with us, to come and talk to us. More importantly, talk to, our audience out there that is now looking to try and maybe do something different. And maybe if you're listening to this and you're saying, I'd never thought of a mattress franchise. I'm telling you, it's an awesome opportunity to do something a little bit different. I know there are many amazing companies that are out there, and they have some phenomenal things going on for them. I can tell you this, mattresses is just a whole different level. A couple of our franchisees thus far already are coming out of other industries and now are wanting to dive into the mattress industry. And just hearing a lot of the feedback that we're getting from these people, they're thrilled, they're excited, they're ready to bring this across the country and talk to people about that. And like I said, we're just excited to be able to do those things. So once again, I would say, based on this, if it is something that you want to learn or know a little bit more about, I would say go to snoozemattresscompany.com, look on that, click on the franchise link, touch base with us, just send us a little bit of information. One of us dream makers will be in contact with you. We'll touch base. We'll kind of give you the synopsis, and hopefully we can get you even out here to Pueblo. We've got an amazing thing going out here and can kind of show you how amazing this place is, how amazing Wake Up is and what we do, how amazing Matt Smith and the team that he's built around him. We take you out there to the stores. We really want to kind of give you the full scale thing. We're like I said, we're a sleep shop of the future. We want to be different. And if it wasn't for great partners like Jay and the TSI team and all of those folks out there, and many, many others, there's definitely tons of people out there that help this ship move in the right direction. We just want to say thank you. Thank you again for coming over here and hanging out with us.
I appreciate you having me.
And look forward to some more Dream Maker podcasts coming here in the near future.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, Jay.
You bet.
Thank you.
So I heard you're interested in starting a podcast. Interesting. And you're probably wondering, do I have what it takes to start my own podcast? Do I have the studio? We've got the studio. Do I have the editing skills? Do I have the ability to post it? Do I know how to do that? You're probably wondering through all these things, and it can get a little overwhelming. I know, I've been there. Trust me, I've tried to start some of my own before I got connected with Wake Up. And I know that that's tough, especially when you're trying to run your business. You're trying to be in your business. Well, I'm here to tell you, with my help, it'll be a breeze. Hey, I'm Ben Kaysen, the podcast director from Wake Up Pueblo. You may have seen us on the Discovery Channel. We were a part of Undercover Billionaire with Grant Cardone. And if there's one thing we learned from Grant Cardone when he was here, it's that if you want to be heard, you need to put yourself out there to be listened to.
Hello and welcome to Wake Up Podcasting. I'm Ben Kaysen here at Cardone Capital, enjoying the awesome studio. Thank you for joining us.
Me and the 10X crew, we want to make sure that you have a successful podcast series within your budget. Don't worry about the editing software or the equipment. I got you covered. Just bring your guests and what you want to talk about, and we'll handle the rest. This is Ben Kaysen. That's a wrap. If you want to work with me, give me a call.